Okay, so we are on. This video is, as you see, the transcendental argument for the existence of God. So this argument is an argument that is supposed to prove that God exists, or rather proves that God exists, because I believe that it proves that God exists. This is going to be posted on my atheism and secular humanism playlist, so I know that it's going to get some comments from the atheists who disagree with the conclusion of the argument. But anyways, I'm going to state the argument, and you atheists can refute the argument if you think you can, because there are 6 answers or 6 objections that I see or hear, well, that I see when I'm reading, and that I hear from the atheists who hear this argument. So the transcendental argument for the existence of God, in its most fundamental principle, goes like this: when there are only 2 possibilities to account for something, and one possibility is negated, then by default the other possibility is vindicated or validated. So there are 2 possibilities. We're using the laws of logic. There are 2 possibilities: either there is a God or there is no God. There is a God or there's no God. Those are the only 2 possibilities. If one is validated, then by default the other is vindicated. Continuing on, getting into the argument. So the laws of logic are absolute, transcendent, and conceptual. They are absolute, meaning they do not depend on space and time for their existence. They are transcendent, meaning they transcend space and time. They are immaterial. They are abstractions, and they are conceptual, meaning they are processes of the mind. Only a mind can use them. Only a mind can use them. So these laws are recognized by us and we use them, but us recognizing those laws don't account for those laws, because to account for something is to explain or give a reason for its existence. Okay, so since these are absolute, transcendent, and conceptual, and they are processes of the mind, and they do not depend upon space and time for their existence, then that therefore means that the mind that they are based upon is the mind of God, which is also absolute, transcendent, and above space and time. And it's a mind, so the things that occur in the mind of God are concepts, conceptual stuff. And because we know these laws exist and we use those laws, they are the first principles of logic, then that therefore means that God exists. Here are the arguments against this argument. Number 1, people will say that the laws of logic were invented by man. That's a very, very, very bad argument. You know why? Because we have different minds, and there are times when our minds contradict each other, and there are times when our minds are self-contradictory. So contradictory minds, which is the human mind, cannot come up with the law of non-contradiction, because we have different minds. What one mind says is logically possible, logically true. Another mind may say is illogical and not true. And then we have disagreements all day. So there's no way that the laws of logic came up or were invented by man. The next argument is this: the laws of logic are recognized. They are recognized. Well, to say that the laws of logic are recognized does not give an accounting for them. It does not give the reason or explanation for the existence of them. It is just saying that they exist. It's just saying that they are. It's just saying that we recognize them. That's not an accounting for them, nor is the first one, because our minds can't invent the laws of logic. The next one is this: the laws of logic are properties of the universe. It can't be, because properties of the universe are those things which can be measured scientifically. The laws of logic cannot be found under a rock. They can't be measured. They can't be seen. They can't be felt. These laws are beyond space and time. We can't see them. We can't taste them. We can't touch them. But we can talk about them. We can write about them. We can think about them. So that does not account for the laws of logic, because that is nonsense. The laws of logic are not properties of the universe. The next one is: the laws of logic are the result of chemical reactions in the brain. That's false, because there is no chemical reaction that you can create that can produce a law of logic. There's no chemical reaction that can produce a law of logic. And just for the sake of argument, let's say that that was true. If chemical reactions in the brain produce laws of logic, then that would mean that the billions of brains in the world that have different chemical reactions in their brains, or different brain chemical reactions, that would therefore mean that we produce billions and billions of different laws of logic, because there are billions and billions of different brains that have different chemical reactions. But that's not the case. There are only 3 laws of logic. The next one is, if I can remember, I think I'm at number 5. The next one is that the laws of logic are conventions. They were invented by groups of people who found validity in these laws. Therefore, they call these laws true, or voted that they were true, or voted that they were right. But that doesn't account for them, because we, as groups of people, cannot account for, well, we as groups of people can't vote on the laws of logic, and therefore those laws of logic are accounted for. Because that would mean that we recognize them, and then we said, okay, these are the laws of logic that we've observed, so let's standardize these laws of logic so that we can operate properly in the world. That's back to recognizing them. But if the laws of logic were invented by man and they were simply up to the vote, then that means that different groups of people in different civilizations could come up with different laws of logic, and they would still be right, because laws of logic are only up to vote. You see what I'm saying? But since they are not up to vote and they're absolute, meaning they're true everywhere and all times, then they were not conventions or voted upon by human beings for their validation. And the last one, number 6, the laws of logic are products of human language. No, that cannot account for them, because it doesn't work. I'm going to tell you why it doesn't work. Languages are different with regards to grammar and syntax and so on. So if the laws of logic came from languages, then that would mean there'd be different laws of logic for French, different laws of logic for English, different laws of logic for Spanish, different laws of logic for Portuguese, and different laws of logic for any other language that you want to come up with. But they are not the products of human language. So that's it. That's it. Those are the 6 objections that I get, and none of these 6 objections account for the existence of logic. Therefore, from where I'm sitting right now, the starting of this video, the argument, rather, well, the thesis of the argument, if there are only 2 possibilities to account for something, and one is negated, then the other by default is vindicated or validated. The atheist cannot account for the laws of logic. The atheist or atheism cannot account for the laws of logic. They can say they have been recognized by the human mind, created by the human mind. They can say they are the result of chemical processes of the brain. They can say that they are voted upon, or that they are conventions. They can say that they are from human language, and they can say that they are properties of the universe. None of these account for the laws of logic. These arguments just don't work. But, however, the theist position, which is my position, God has a mind. The laws of logic are concepts of the mind. The laws of logic are absolute and transcendent. God's mind is absolute and transcendent. So these point to God. The laws of logic point to God. And God is the one who these laws of logic are based upon, because not even God can break these laws, because these laws are attributes of his nature. God is logical. Therefore, we can observe and see logical properties. Well, logical properties. No, logical, well, yeah. Since God is logical, we can observe reality and find logical absolutes, and that is what we find. Logical absolutes that are true regardless of space and time, and that are true eternally. Because if there were no human minds, if there was nothing in the universe, these laws would still be valid. Therefore, these laws don't depend upon us for their existence, nor does it depend on time, which means it's eternal. And nor are they mutable, because they are absolute. Nothing can change them. They are invariant. But if I don't end this video now, I'm just going to be ranting all over the place because I don't have any notes. So I think I made my point. The atheists who watch these videos, or this video rather, make a comment, Give me a seventh option, because the six I just quoted to you do not account for the laws of logic. They do not. They weren't created by us, and the other five that I said, I don't want to go over them again. But give me a seventh one. Give me a refuting argument for the transcendental argument for the existence of God. All right? So let's hear let's see what you guys are going to say to this one. I'll see you guys around. Well, you'll see me around. Oh, rather, you'll see me in the next video. Have a good one.